Hello, good evening. Welcome to MAGAR, Make Afar Great Again program. I hope you can see me, you can hear me. Welcome. So tonight I'm gonna present you the history of Afar people. Who are the Afar people? Afar people is one of the oldest haplogroup. They inhabit Horn of Africa, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Eritrea. So they are the people who have been named, or whose African continent has the name Africa. So that's where it come from. So I'm gonna do quick presentation. So let's get started. I believe everything's good. So yes, Afar people, people who lives in Horn of Africa. So they are the oldest peoples. Is the cradle of mankind. You probably heard about Lucy Afarensis, 3.2 million years old. Found in Omo Valley in Afar, in Ethiopia. So let's start with that. So this is the photo of her fossil. As you can see, Lucy, as you can read it. She was discovered on the 24th of November 1974 in Africa, and you can see who she was discovered. So this is really where it all started, and this is in Afar lands. Obviously, it's not a fluke. This is not a coincidence. And we're gonna go through the history of these people. Afar people history has been disinvented on purpose, because the history is not the real history. Everybody had interest to wipe the history of these people, and I'm gonna show it to you through this presentation. So please share it. So obviously Lucy Afarensis, as I told you, she is humanoid, discovered in Ethiopia 3.2 million years. The Afar triangle is the cradle of mankind. That's that's where we're gonna be starting. Obviously I'm gonna take you through Genesis, obviously the Bible, the Torah, and so on. And obviously I'm gonna go through as well the genetics to show you what I'm saying is, when I say make Afar great again, this is the people who wrote history, who were everywhere in history, but for some reason, obviously, so it's not inadvertently, for some reason, the world tried, or is still trying, to wipe or to disinvent this history. Okay, so then obviously then we're gonna pass to the Homo sapien. As you all know, we come from the Homo sapiens, and that's the earliest person obviously has been found is Idal 2 or Hertoman. This is the one. This we relate to who we related really. If we're gonna go through the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, so Adam and Eve, as this is the situation. So this is Hertoman. It was discovered in 1997. So it's approximately 160,000 to 154,000 years old human, who was discovered in Afar region again. Obviously there are more of them, but obviously I'm just gonna present you two of them. Obviously too well known. You have obviously Ramidis and all the ones, but we're gonna go with this one. So this is the one closely related to us, and obviously according to the scriptures, Adam and Eve. So he was found in Afar as well. So who are the Afar? Now let's go back to genetics, because it's very important. I will try to make to put together genetics, the scriptures, Bible, Torah, and Quran, and obviously the historian, the historian of the antiquity, like Flavius Josephus, and all these things. So let's go now to the next bit. This is the map of Africa, and you can see the haplogroups, L1, L2, L3. Obviously, the migration from out of Africa to the rest of the world. So, from what we know, the L3, who's Afar, is the first to leave Africa, probably mainly through the Red Sea and Bab el-Mandeb to Yemen, and obviously then they gave rise to two haplogroup, the haplogroup N and haplogroup M. So the haplogroup N is are the Yemeni people, so obviously, and the Yemeni people who are closely related to Afar, and then obviously you have the M haplogroup who probably they went this way or this way, so obviously they relate to the Cushites and Egypt and all these things, and obviously went up to the M group, apparently went up to the Australia and beyond, and then obviously N group are the one who migrated towards Europe and populate, inhabit the rest of the Europe and Middle East and so on. So now I'm gonna just to illustrate what I'm just saying to you, I'm gonna show you a program or a documentary that was made by BBC, and one of the main actor or participating person is Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard wanted to know who he was. Was he is a British comedian, transvestite, and so on, and obviously union person for a union person as well, and union activist, and he wanted to know, am I Anglo-Saxon or am I Celtic or Viking also. Of course he got the answer to that question, but obviously then he has something beyond that, and obviously he has to go back, and obviously his genes took him back to Africa, the Africa experience. He experienced it through his DNA, and then obviously traveling through that from Africa to the modern day United Kingdom. So I'm gonna just show you exactly to illustrate what I just put in front of you. Let's go to that. So meet the Izzard, the mother side bit here. So obviously he did two documentary for the BBC, the mother side and the father side. Obviously I want to show you from the mother side.
Eddie Izzard, actor, comedian,
Morning, this is Stephen, very hunting,
transvestite, and marathon runner extraordinaire, is about to embark on a remarkable journey, using his own DNA as the roadmap.
I've always been fascinated by genetics and the fact that it can bring my history right here. It's like magic.
Locked within each of us is a genetic history book. It reveals not only our deep ancestry, but also the journey of mankind across the globe.
This is it, the birthplace of the Exodus, the first Exodus.
Recent breakthroughs in genetics will allow Eddie to use his own DNA to unlock the secrets of where he and we came from.
Instead of going back to the last couple of hundred years, we're going to go back to the last couple of 100,000 years.
This is the epic story of humanity's journey from our shared origins in Africa 10,000 generations ago, all the way to Eddie Izzard.
This is the first time in Britain that an individual has looked at their own DNA and used that to retrace their ancestral journey.
My ancestors came across here.
And finally, he'll bridge the gap between his genetic and family history.
I believe we are related to each other. Oh, it's Eddie Izzard. Fancy that.
Okay, so that's the first bit. So that's the first bit, and the first bit, and then let's go to the next bit now.
Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Fishing is still... It's a reminder of how resilient early modern humans must have been in order to survive.
It's really tough. It's a tough land. It's a tough fight now. It would have been a tough fight then. We're not sure what the conditions were back then, but it really is tough. Nicola, who was driving us, decided to continue. He feels happy that driving into the sand. We've got military people with us with guns, so we can shoot invisible sand monsters that come.
After 2 hours, Eddie emerges from the sandstorm at his destination, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. He's just 35 kilometers from the Arabian country of Yemen, where it's thought modern humans first stepped outside Africa. Bizarrely, the Yemen is also where Eddie himself was born. Today, on the African side of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, fishing is still as important as it was to our ancestors. To explore what life might have been like around 60,000 years ago, Eddie is off to help catch some fish, accompanied by his translator, Fatima. They are meeting Nouria Ahmed Suli. She is one of just 3 fisherwomen in the whole of Djibouti.
Nouria, who is from Djibouti, an Afar woman, which is very close to the Yemeni people. Yemen is just over there. And she's the captain. You can see it in her face that she's a can-do woman. So how long has she been a fisherwoman?
20 years.
20 years. And what was she doing before?
I have faced so many problems. I became a fisherwoman.
Oh, right.
I married, and I was happy with my family, with my children at my home. The war happened in Obok, as a civil war.
So civil war happened, and after that she became a fisherwoman?
Yes.
Where does she sell the fish that she catches? Only in Yemen?
Here, they pay 250. There, they pay 1,000 francs.
Okay, so 4 times as much for the fish.
Yes.
And when she goes to Yemen, does she go over Bab el-Mandeb? That is the route you take? She goes in this boat, she goes to Yemen.
Yes.
Does she speak Arabic?
I speak Arabic well. I speak Somali also.
All I can say is, Ismi Eddie, ولدت في عدن في اليمن. Just Ismi Eddie, ولدت في عدن. How many fish do you think here?
It's more than 100.
More than 100 fish. You've got to get the fish out of the nets, which is really tricky, and not break the nets. I got one. Where do we throw it?
Every day, Nouria follows the same route our ancestors probably took when they left Africa. The Bab el-Mandeb is still a highway to Arabia.
Bon voyage! Salamata!
No one knows for sure why modern humans left Africa, but our innate curiosity and environmental change may have been 2 important factors. It's thought global cooling and ice age meant sea levels were lower at this time. Perhaps the shorter distance made the crossing more attractive. Some scientists believe only a handful of people made the initial crossing. Remarkably, it's thought that only 2 women gave birth to the rest of humanity outside Africa. One maternal line reached Australia, but Eddie's took a different route and headed towards Europe.
That's the journey that humanity took 60 to 70,000 years ago. Maybe as few as 200 people, maybe only 2 women. My mother's line, which is not only my line, it's everyone's line who became European. So we all have problems whether we're British or whether we're European, or British European, as I consider myself. In fact, we're all coming from one mother who came across here and gave birth to nearly everyone in Europe.
Political unrest has prevented Eddie from making the crossing to the Yemen. Frustratingly, he can't follow directly in the footsteps of modern humans as they ventured outside Africa, or visit his own birthplace.
My dad and my mum met there, so it's very important to us. Mum working as a nurse for BP oil refining, dad as an accountant, and so it means a lot. My brother was born there, I was born there. My mum died 6 years later, so, and we have these cine-film memories of mum and dad there. It's in here, and bizarrely, it just happens to be the place where the exodus of humanity went through. This is it, the birthplace of the exodus, the first exodus.
It's time for Eddie to leave his and our shared African roots behind. This is now the story of those of us who spread out across the rest of the world.
First crossing happened there in through the Bab el Mandeb, as Eddie said. One mother, Afar mother, gave rise to almost everybody out of Africa. Almost all European, all Middle East people from Middle East, from Arabia, from everywhere, and I will try to show that as well through some of the programs, but obviously through the Genesis. Okay, let's go and see. Hopefully, the next. Okay, let's go to Genesis now. So as you know, here is we're gonna go let's see, Adam and Eve. Okay, we have Adam and Eve, as you know, through the Genesis, and then happened obviously sorry, everybody knows from heard of Cain and Abel, and then obviously Cain kill Abel, and then obviously after that Adam and Eve gonna have a third son, Seth, and obviously I'm gonna try to show what I told you through the Genesis of obviously the Afar people's line and all these things. So what we believe is is Afar relate directly to Canaan, obviously the Adam, but this is where the line of Afar people start, Canaan, Canaanite, and all these things. So we, and then obviously as you can see, Noah and all these things. So we're gonna try to show you the next slide. Okay, so obviously you have Japheth, and then you have the next one, so here is, you have obviously Shem. So that's the slide gone. Yeah, so the slide, you have obviously that's Japheth, and I think I might have lost this slide. So let's go to Noah, Ham, obviously, Havilah, the Cush, Cush, Mitzrayim, Foot, Canaan, as I was showing you early on. So that's the thing. So across there, and I'm gonna show you an old map as well of sorry, I am having some technical problem.